Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, you label us an emerging species, a polite term for a child who needs guidance. You seek to limit our sovereignty for our own good. But let me remind you of what this child has accomplished. When the Krillian plague swept through the outer sectors, it was human ingenuity, our unique biological adaptability, that synthesized the cure. When the Void Corruptors breached the Celestial Gate, who held the line? It was human strategists and our so-called reckless courage. We gave you warp field stabilizers derived from our old theoretical physics. We shared our art, our music, our stories, which have enriched countless worlds. We are not children to be governed. We are partners, allies, and pioneers. We have earned our place at this table not through age, but through action. We ask for respect, not restriction. Thank you. Then she placed a crystalline shard on her console. Humanity's permanent resignation. She stepped away. Every human envoy rose and followed her out in perfect silence. The chamber erupted. Panic surged through a gathering unused to losing control. But Myra and her people never looked back. Their ships left Dawn's harbor in a solemn formation and vanished into the dark. For months, the galaxy comforted itself with easy explanations. Humans were impulsive, emotional. They'd return once they calmed. The accord had existed before them. It would endure after, until the first plague resurfaced. A mutated strain tore through colonies at terrifying speed. Elite researchers deployed everything they had, but the original cure had relied on human intuition, on safeguards built for mutations no one else foresaw. 11 million died in weeks. Then the navigation grid failed. Ships vanished into fold space misalignment. Freighters appeared inside asteroid fields. Passenger liners drifted cold and lost. Investigators discovered that the beacons had required constant micro-corrections adjustments. Humans had made daily for 40 years. Without them, the galaxy's arteries collapsed. Diplomacy followed. Old grudges reignited. And without Terran mediators who had built trust through years of living among warring peoples, no one could stop the flames. Border skirmishes turned into wars. Then the translation web began to slip. A harmless phrase became an insult. An order to hold position translated as a command to fire. Meaning itself fractured. Misunderstanding spread faster than any fleet. Watching everything unravel, the historian Darwin uncovered a truth no one had seen. Humanity had quietly upheld the galaxy for decades. They had improved infrastructure without taking credit. Tuned translation systems. Updated navigational lattice. Monitored plagues. Brokered peace. Shared knowledge without recognition. They had been the invisible scaffolding the entire accord rested on, and now the scaffolding was gone. Meanwhile, humanity sealed its borders, 14 systems closed, energy signatures spiking, megastructures rising behind impenetrable shields. No one knew what they were building. The galaxy fractured into factions, one demanding humanity's return, one seeking militarized self-reliance, and others fleeing into isolation. Old predators rose again. The Zal Dominion seized worlds within days. The Order of the Shroud re-emerged, detonating stations and sabotaging planets. Pirates swarmed the trade lanes once patrolled by Terran ships. Civilization buckled. At the edge of despair, the ancient High Orator recorded a message not to the Council, but to the humans. His voice trembled as he begged them not for restoration of pride, but for mercy for the innocent. Billions who had never voted against them. Children whose worlds burned. He broadcast the plea to every corner of space. Nothing answered. Day after day, the silence deepened. Until the border of human space opened all at once. What emerged was not a revenge force, but a miracle of engineering and purpose. Thousands of ships glided forward in disciplined formations, warships sleek and unreadable to scanners. Colossal guardian bastions capable of shielding entire planets. Hospital arcs carrying resources to heal civilizations. And restoration carriers built to rebuild worlds from ruins. The fleet split into 3 divisions. The first swept into Dominion-occupied territory. Human weapons didn't destroy, they disabled. Engines died. Cannons powered down. Shields evaporated. Boarding teams brought food and medical aid, not executions. We do not act simply because something is easy, a Terran officer told a captured warlord demanding to know why he still lived. In 3 weeks, every conquered world was freed. The second division struck the Order of the Shroud. Humanity had mapped their entire network during their silence. The counterattack was surgical. Leaders detained, arsenals seized, operations dismantled without civilian casualties. Even the fanatics' followers were offered counseling, schooling, and a way back to life. The third traveled the galaxy, delivering medicine, food, engineers, and hope to every suffering world. They rebuilt infrastructure, stopped plagues, and taught every species how to sustain themselves. When asked why they returned after such humiliation, Commander Saren Vale answered simply, "We didn't stop caring. You stopped letting us care." But when we heard children were afraid and families shattered, we could not stay away. War fronts collapsed. The Dominion surrendered. The order broke. Starvation ended. Diplomacy resurfaced. Slowly, painfully, the galaxy stabilized. And then came something none expected: humility. Worlds once proud now understood how deeply humanity had carried them. Former enemies bowed their heads in apology. A captured Dominion youth began questioning everything his culture believed after seeing the mercy humans extended. Trials were held. Not by humans, but by freed civilizations. Leaders once drunk on power now faced justice under laws humans insisted must be fair and neutral. Atonement spread across the stars. When the galaxy tried to appoint a human as supreme leader, humanity refused. They proposed instead a new Accord One with no hierarchy, no ancient superiority, no seats raised above others, every voice equal, every species valued. The founding ceremony took place not in an orbital fortress, but on a world humanity had grown in secret during their withdrawal, a world built as a gift, in case someone someday needed a safe place to start again. Oceans shimmered beneath a blue sky. Forests swayed in gentle wind. Delegates wept when they saw it. One by one, species signed the charter. Even the ancient Elindra bowed to Mira Solman, confessing they had mistaken age for wisdom when compassion had always mattered more. That evening, historian Jonas stood beneath the new sky and wrote his final entry. He had studied empires for millennia, but had never seen anything like humanity, a people mocked, dismissed, cast out, and yet they returned without vengeance, offering shelter, healing, and an outstretched hand. The galaxy had collapsed when humanity withdrew. It found its balance only when they came back, not seeking power, but offering partnership. And in the end, that became the story the stars would carry. Not conquest, not domination, but a young species who refused to stop caring, even for those who never cared for them.